Welcome to my reading vlog. So I'm reading a steamy romance book. I've been looking for a smut novel, and I had my library friend interlibrary loan this one for me. It's called Misconduct by Penelope Douglas, and I'm excited to dive into this. The only steamy books I've read, I read 50 Shades of Grey earlier this year, and I read The Kiss Quotient, which I did not expect to be steamy, but was steamy in my opinion. And I really enjoyed The Kiss Quotient. I didn't really like 50 Shades of Grey. That book was trash. So I'm excited to see where this leads me, and I will check into you when I have some updates. At the moment, I am only 50 pages in. I'm on chapter 3, and this man is a businessman, running for the Senate, the big top guys, dealing with his son that he is not really emotionally connected to well enough and doesn't know how to handle. And our taboo relationship is that he is interested in his son's teacher, who he met at a Mardi Gras parade a few months ago. So I'm interested to see where this leads. Just a little check-in. I'm not quite at page 100. I'm hoping to hit a page 100 tonight. At page 74. So her and her brother are very close, but she has a sister named Avery, and something bad has happened to Avery. We don't know what yet. I'm presuming Avery is dead, so this is interesting. But what we're all here for, the steam. So Tyler, our main male character, goes over our teacher Easton's head and goes to her supervisor and is like, hey, I don't like the way she's teaching this class. Is really just arrogant and an asshole. And I hate when they have that trope in books, the arrogant asshole. And then they become lovers and shit. But we shall see where this will go. Ooh. Okay, so no spice, but definitely some tea. So this asshole is all like, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I don't have time for silly young women who don't know their place. I'm sorry, but if we're supposed to end up rooting for this man and their spice, I'm done. I'm already done. I'm at page 91, and I'm like, ugh, this gross man. But then she freaks out, as she should, but not professionally. She says, yeah, you can go to hell. No wonder he can't stand you. Talking about this man's son. She is his teacher. And she just said this to a parent. So good for her, but she could have handled it better. But this dude is trash. I don't like him. Okay, we may be getting some smut now.
I don't understand how he goes from, I'm a bad dad because I was so young, to, you disrespect me, but I love it. You make me feel like I'm nothing, but I love it. What?
It is day 2, and I'm starting off with my You're Freaking Me Out cup of coffee, and I'm going to continue to read this book. It is currently 54 degrees in my home, and I am ready to drink my cup of coffee and go back to my comfy bed to finish some reading. So, good morning. I hope you're having a great day, and I will check in just a little bit. Don't mind this rough look. I just woke up. As you saw, I have my coffee. I'm in bed. And her brother is at her apartment, and Tyler just showed up, and he doesn't know that the brother is there. And he says, I made you come on a desk this morning, but I can't stop by your house. And I have a brother, and I'm just imagining him hearing that about one of my sexual partners, and I don't think I could ever look my brother in the eye ever again. Okay, some family drama. Her parents and sister have, in fact, died in a car accident. So I don't really know the circumstances yet. But also there's a stalker situation or something that happened to her that has not been fully explained yet. But everyone treats her like so fragile and like she's a child and whatnot. So this man like taking charge of her is like giving her some freeness, I guess. But we went to like what I thought was going to be another spicy scene. It's what I'm here for. I'm here for the spice. He just stopped. He's like, okay, go get dressed. I'm gonna take you to dinner. like, no, sir, give me your dick. So they go to dinner, and he just kind of spills of why he's a bad dad and why he wants to be part of his son's life now. So they have this nice little emotional connection scene and whatnot. I really don't care about story building right now. Like, I just want steam. That's what I'm here for. They just fucked, like, up against a wall or some shit. Like, yes. That's what I've been waiting for, bitch. Go do it again.
Unfortunately, it's time for me to change out of this and into this. Fuzzy socks will be gone. And actually, I'll probably take this cardigan off as a while. I have a cardigan waiting at work for me, but I kind of like this one better. So who knows? I have to walk to work today, and it takes me 45 minutes to do that. So I will check in later tonight if I read any more.
Ew. So she's at this party that he invited her to, which is a little weird because she's the only, like, teacher there or whatever. Like, people are gonna know they're fucking around. And it's a taboo because she's his son's teacher. Anywho, like, all the men are just nasty shitbags. Like, one of the men makes the comments, like, can I invite her to my next party? She's a pretty little thing and pretty entertaining, too. Disgusting. And then, without warning, he just kisses her in front of all these people when their relationship's supposed to be a secret. And she's like, how dare you, like, demean me like that? And he's like, you liked it. Like, the fuck, bro? The fuck? And he's like, it's fine because they won't tell. You know, the one in the tan suit is sleeping with his kid's nanny. The other one has a secretary keeping track of his mistresses. And the other one was my brother. Most of us are gentlemen outside of the bedroom anyway, and we don't share each other's secrets. You wanted me to claim you, so I did. That's literally disgusting. All those men are disgusting. None of them are gentlemen. They're assholes. Oof. Someone do this, please. Do this.
Why they always gotta be slamming the dick in? Like, when they first enter, they always, every book I read, they're always slamming it in the first entrance. Like, what? Like, that's not how I want to be dicked down, man. And a woman wrote this. Like, ma'am, it don't feel good when you slam it in the first time. This, like, why they gotta use that verbiage there? Slammed.
Okay, but what's kind of gross to me is the age difference. Because I keep getting reminded of the age difference. It's 10 years. And a lot of people think that's like nothing. But to me, I think that's gross. But like this man keeps referring to the fact that, you know, he's like 35 or something. Or like in his early 30s. And he's like, I was a 22-year-old kid. But our main character, the girl, is 23. So, like, he refers to himself at that age as, like, a child. But he's okay with sexually being involved with a woman that age. And thinking she's an adult. But, like, when he was that age, he couldn't deal with the consequences of his own actions. It feels weird and wrong to me. I don't like the age difference. Why did that have to be a thing in this? Ooh, they just got caught by someone that they know. Is the secret gonna come out? So she just went from telling him about her creepy-ass tennis coach to being like, my biggest dream is to not want you as much as I do. Bam! Like, this tennis coach be nasty, okay? And she tells him this story, and she's like, yeah, we moved to start over and start new and fresh. And then he's like, well, what's your dream? And she's like, my dream is to not want you as much as I do. Like, she, like, goes from telling him something like really traumatic to being like, oh, I want you. What?
Fucking hell. I just dropped my book. And I have no idea what page I was on.
This man finally be getting a taste of his own medicine. So he's a crappy ass dad, has been for 14 years. Now he's putting in a little bit of effort, and he misses his son's conference call for his school. And the mom is like, I thought you could do better than this. Maybe he should come back and live with me. And his response is, it's a lot harder than I thought it would be, trying to balance everything alone. And she's like, yeah, I know. Thanks to you, Tyler, I know that all too well. She hung up, leaving me on my own, just as I had done to her all those years ago. This dude all sorts of dumb. Okay, so she shows up to his office ready to have some steamy hot office sex, and he like kind of gets started and then he stops and he's like, no. And in his head, he's thinking, you know, I need to stop this because this is my son's teacher and I really need to put him first, and this is just going to be harmful to him and hurt him, and I'll just eventually hurt her. But instead of just telling her that, like, hey, like, I want to put my son first. I don't think this relationship's good for him. It's not good for us. He's just like, yeah, I don't like you like that. I actually just wanted you as my little fuck slut. Like, this is done. We're over. Like, sir, what the fuck? Why can't you just be honest with her? It's not that hard. How is she supposed to, like, trust anyone after that? The fuck? So, I haven't focused on this part of the book very much, but it does kind of hint that she has been stalked and that someone had broken into her apartment. And now we're hinting back at that creepy tennis coach of hers. And how after he was fired, he continued to send her love letters. And her parents hid these letters from her. She didn't find out about these letters until after they had passed. You know, he sent threats, he sent love letters, and all this stuff. And now someone has broken into her house again and found these letters or whatnot. So now she's, like, freaking out about it. And I just can't. I just felt like that was important to mention. I'll check in a couple pages. Oof. Okay. So we just found out more about this creepy tennis coach perv and the effect that it had on her family. So he terrorized her for 2 years, emailed, called, left messages, showed up at her matches. He threatened her, broke into her hotel rooms, ransacked her things. My parents had to take away her phone, her email, and eventually her freedom. It goes on. This man was a terrible creep of a person. But one night he left a note on her car that's like, I'll make sure you never forget me. And she was tired of living in fear, so she went to his apartment to confront him, and her parents freaked out and went out searching for her. Her parents and her sister that was in the car lost control and got in an accident and died. She came home later that night, found out her family was dead, and so was her stalker. He had committed suicide. The note that he left wasn't a threat to her, it was his suicide note to her. And she's been fucked in the head ever since that happened to her.
Just trying to enjoy my morning coffee, but I keep looking up and saying, help me.
Okay, like, this is me chilling in my little robe in bed, cold as hell. It's 47 degrees in my house. This is dumb, but I'm mad about it. So, like, you know, they've broken up, whatnot, and they see each other at this party, and he approaches her, and she's like, oh, are you, like, with that woman? And he's like, well, like, some relationships have to be maintained for professional reasons. And she's like, she needs you. You don't need her. And as a way of avoiding it, his response was, I love when you get angry. I used to love when you got angry. Like, excuse me? You shouldn't like when I'm angry. You should care about my feelings. That, like, being angry shouldn't be a turn on for you. Like, did you hear what I said? Do you have an actual response to what I said? You know what I keep thinking about this book that's kind of weird to me is the fact that Christian, our son, he's 14, and his dad knows that, like, he likes this teacher, but, like, he uses the teacher as a way to convince his son to, like, do things like, oh, come to dinner with me, and the son's like, no, and the dad's like, well, Miss Bradbury's gonna be there, and the son's like, okay. Like, that's weird to me. Like, unless the son has, like, a crush on his teacher, why would that convince him to, like, go to lunch with you or go to this party with you? I feel like that's just weird. But yeah, that's happened a couple times now where the dad, like, uses the teacher as a way to convince his son to go somewhere with him. I am so close to being done. My hand is freezing. Listen, I know that this is a book, but I tear everything apart. I can never enjoy something for what it is. So here's my thoughts. It's just this one sentence. I'm getting towards the end of the book. You know, he's finally deciding he's willing to sacrifice his career to be with this woman, and he just loves this woman oh so much. And he says, I love you, okay? I love you like crazy, and I've never said that to a woman before, but I'm completely in love with you, Easton. This man is 35, and he's never said I love you to a woman. That is a red flag to me. This man is 35 and has never been in a long, stable relationship. Has never even said I love you to a woman. That is cringy to me. That is a red flag. I would be worried. But I understand this is a book and it's supposed to be sweet and special. And oh, she's like so much more special than any other girl he's ever had before. Let's swoon over him. Like, I get it, but, like, at the same time, like, ooh. Also, quick rant. Like, they're at this party, and he, like, professes his love, and she's like, please don't do this here, and then, like, kind of starts crying. Then he takes her outside, and they, like, get steamy, and a photographer takes their photo, and she's like, oh my god, that's gonna be online soon. He's like, I don't care. I'm willing to sacrifice my chance at being senator for you. But here's the thing, dude. Maybe she's not worried about your career. Maybe she's worried about her own career. Because even if you fail at getting the senator seat, you're still a millionaire. She, on the other hand, is a teacher. She could very well, like, lose her job or get ostracized for having a relationship with a parent. And not once does he think about that. Not once does he care about that. He's just like, look, I'm willing to make the sacrifice. Don't worry about my career. Maybe she's not worried about your career, sir. She's worried about herself. We're not supposed to think like that while reading this book. But, like, that's my immediate thought. So I take back a little bit of what I just said. Maybe he does care about her career because, like, they're getting hot and steamy in the alley. And then he calls his brother during this. And it's like, hey, get ahead of the scandal. Make sure she's, like, not demonized in the news. Like, hype her up a bit in the news. And then he randomly says, you know, like, during their sexy time, he's like, you didn't tell me you were stalked when you were younger. And she doesn't know that he knows this. So I'm surprised she's not caught off guard. All she says is, I know. And he's like, well, you need to tell me everything, like, about you. Like, I don't want to find out from other people. Which I think is weird. Why are you making her think about this traumatic event that happened to her? Why are you making her think about this pervy, gross coach of hers while she's trying to have sex with you? And then, like, she tells him, I love you too. And asks, you know, like, what is this? Like, are we in a relationship? And he's like, I'm too old for girlfriends. That's literally what he says. I'm too old for girlfriends, Easton. What the hell does that mean, sir? What are you? Well, holy shit, I didn't see this coming. So the brother is fucking crazy and so jealous of his sister that he is the one who has been, like, breaking into her house and, like, threatening her because he wants her to be thrown off her game and not pursue this relationship with the senator, because then she'll be in the limelight again and, you know, she'll be, like, the successful sibling. Like, he always felt like he was second best compared to his sibling and that she got all the attention and whatnot. So it's, like, sibling rivalry and jealousy. And finally, he thought, you know, it was his turn. You know, after she was stalked and whatnot, she started to go inward and really pull back. And he liked that. He didn't like that she was hurting, but he liked the fact that she was failing at life. And now it was his turn. But now that she's, like, dating a senator, she would be back in the spotlight. And he would be the second best again. So to throw her off her game, he made her think that she was being stalked again and somebody was breaking into her house. And he confesses all this to her. Like, the fuck, bro? The fuck? Are you okay? Maybe go to therapy. More men need to go to therapy. I've reached the end of my steamy romance book. Not as much steam as I was anticipating, but I still liked it. Don't get me wrong. There was still plenty of steam. It ends. She, like, refuses to see her brother unless he gets help because he's fucking nuts. Her and Tyler get engaged. And during, like, the last scene is them taking engagement photos, with this photographer and whatnot. And then she's like, hey, like, we haven't talked about this yet. Like, do you want any more kids? And he's like, yeah, like, that'd be cool. Like, that'd be dope. Like, I was a shit dad to my son for 14 years, but, like, I'm doing better now. Like, yeah, let's give it a second try. Let me see if I'm a better father this time. And she's like, yeah, I'd like that. I feel like that's a conversation they should have had before they got engaged. You know, like, because he's a senator. So if they break it off now, it's weird. It's going to be all over the public thing. Like, they should have had that discussion beforehand. Also, she didn't know what political party he was in. Like, I think this is supposed to be like a haha funny moment in the book. But I think that's dumb as fuck. He's running for senator. You've Googled him. You've attended multiple parties with him. But you don't know what political party he's running for? Come on now. And so she asks him, and he's like, you don't know? Well, does it matter? And she's like, well, it might matter. And he's, instead of, like, answering the question, he just makes out with her. Like, what a cop-out. Like, what the fuck? Come on now, bro. And then they live happily ever after, I suppose.